everyone, I'm Dara. Today I want to work on mending this pair of pants for my husband. Looking at the things I mend for him, you think he would be this sort of, have this really like rugged outdoors kind of job, but he actually works indoors. These are his pants that he wears to do chores around the house. And I guess he's maybe just hard on his clothes. I don't know. So I thought I would have a go with these. I can see these ragged bottoms when he's, around and they're really bugging me. So I'm gonna see if I can clean them up and mend the rest of the pants. Whenever I'm setting out to mend something, it's usually the most visible thing that catches my eye, but I always find it's worth it to do an overall assessment to see if I can like tackle the whole garment. So what I found is these are the back pockets, and this is the original color of the fabric, but there is extra fabric here. Show you. Sewn on to reinforce the pocket. So I'm going to pick this off and use this for patching. right, that's the fly patched. Now the pockets. So if this was a woman's pair of pants or a girl's pair of pants, I would do a blanket stitch along the whole length of the pocket and then incorporate the mending into, or incorporate like a decorative element into the mending. So it would do two purposes. And I'm sure there's lots of people on the internet doing that. But you know, I don't think my husband is gonna feel so comfortable with decorative mending on his work pants. So I think what have I got left of my patch fabric here? Oh, just a tiny bit. So I think a patch is in order. And I think if I can go along the seam line all the way around, then it will look okay. So I'm gonna have to steal some more from the pocket. So that's the side I stole from for the other patch. So I'm gonna steal from the other side here. Okay, so that pocket is still intact and usable. It's just not reinforced anymore. I think that'll be okay. Let's see. It's not quite long enough. But I think it'll be okay if I stop there and stop there, and I just have to turn under a tiny hem. Okay, so I'm going to maintain this fold from the original seam and then cut my patch accordingly. And then hopefully I can get the other side out of the same piece of fabric. Okay, that's not straight. Okay, I'm going to go press. Front side is sewn down. Now I'm going to go at the back side. I'm not trying this on my machine because there's about, I'm estimating about 6 layers of fabric here, and it's thick. It's almost as thick as denim. So I don't think my machine would be able to handle it. So that's why I'm going in by hand. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that I do like to hand sew. I feel I have more control over the outcome, and I can get like in tough places like this with my needle. Okay, so that's done, and before I do the other side, I thought we would just do a side-by-side of that's sort of like a before and after. So, you know, I think that's fairly neat. Unfortunately, my patch doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but I'm okay with that. And the difference in color is just, you know, this fabric is fading at different rates in different places anyway, so I think we're okay there. So I'm going to keep going and do this side with what's left of my patch. So Okay, I'm done my second pocket, and I did piece the patch down here. For whatever reason, it didn't extend far enough down. And that's the other side. So now let's have a look at this crotch. So there is definitely daylight showing to about there. And to about there. So let's look at it from the inside. I think you can see my finger there. So let's go to here. All right, let's look at this from the other side and make sure it looks okay. Yeah, so my, I'm going backwards here, so take those pins out, Dara. Maybe I'll do it from the right side. Okay, so I want this worn bit to be enclosed, to be tucked in, like that. Get in there. Okay, that's that done. Now to tackle these bottoms, which is what was bugging me the most in the first place. So last year I did a pair of his by turning them in like that and then just stitching along. So maybe I'll do that this time too. And okay, let's cut it. Okay, so in here we have the amount of the hem that was used to turn under, and we have a whole bunch of seam allowance, so that can go, and that can go. And this can go. I'm gonna trim that close to the original stitching. Okay, that's my cat. Okay, surprisingly, my machine was able to manage the side seams. And you know, I have a little bit of a flared out here, and my stitching is visible, but I'm going to tolerate that. It's good because it shows up better on camera, and that's just the thread that I had in my machine. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And here is the comparison to what it looks like without the mending versus with the mending. So it's still quite an improvement, and if it had blue thread, I'd be in even better shape, but I don't think that's going to be too bad when he's wearing them. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other leg the same way. Can you move your hand? Okay, so here's the pocket and the fly. And then down here we have the bottoms. Okay, and there's the finished pants, all mended. How do they feel?
They feel great. Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. I hope my video of mending my husband's pants will inspire you to try mending something of yours, and that you found some helpful tips and tricks in this video.